Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our podcast. My name is Clara.
And I'm Mark. We're so happy to have you with us today. Whether you're listening in the morning with a cup of coffee, during your lunch break, or maybe at night while you're winding down, we're really glad you're here.
Yes, we always say this podcast is like having a friendly chat with us, and today's topic is something that's fun, light, and super relatable. We're going to talk about our weekends.
Exactly. You know, weekends are kind of magical. They're like these two short days that everyone looks forward to. Some people spend them resting, some go out for adventures, some use the time to do chores, and some, well, just binge Netflix all day.
Which is totally fine, by the way. No judgment here. Because weekends don't have to look a certain way. It's about how you spend them and what makes you feel happy or recharged.
That's right. And we thought this would be a fun topic because sharing weekend stories feels a bit like catching up with a friend. You know that classic Monday question. So, what did you do over the weekend?
Yes, it's always the first thing people ask at school or at work. And sometimes the answers are really exciting, like, I went on a trip. Or sometimes they're simple, like, I just stayed home and relaxed. But both are equally valuable.
Exactly. So, today, we'll tell you what we did this past weekend, some highlights, and maybe even a few lessons we picked up.
And we'd also love for you, our listeners, to think about your own weekend as we share ours. Maybe you'll remember something small but meaningful, or even feel inspired to try something new next weekend.
So, get comfortable, settle in, and let's dive right into it. Clara, I think we should start with you. How was your weekend? All right, Clara, let's start with you. How was your weekend?
Honestly, it was really refreshing. On Saturday morning, I decided to go for a walk in the park near my apartment. You know, it's one of those little green spots in the middle of the city. I don't usually go there, but I woke up early and thought, why not?
That sounds nice. What time did you go?
Around 7 a.m., it was quiet, just a few people jogging and some families with kids. The air was cool, and you could still hear birds singing. It felt like a completely different world compared to the usual busy streets.
I can imagine. I always feel parks are like little escapes in the middle of the city chaos.
Exactly. And I went with my friend, Mia. We grabbed some takeaway coffee from this small cafe, then just walked and talked. We even found a bench near the pond, where we sat for almost an hour just chatting about life, work, random things.
That's so good. Sometimes those little conversations are the best therapy.
Yes! And the funny thing is, while we were sitting there, we saw this little kid chasing after pigeons. He was laughing so hard, and the pigeons kept flying away and coming back. It was so simple, but watching him made us laugh too.
Oh, that's adorable. Kids have this way of making you appreciate small moments.
Totally. After that, we walked a bit more, and then I accidentally tripped over a tree root.
No way! Did you fall?
Not completely, thank goodness, just a very ungraceful stumble. And of course, Mia couldn't stop laughing. I was like, this is why I don't do sports.
Well, at least you survived the adventure.
Yeah, but honestly, it was so nice to just slow down, be in nature, and not rush anywhere. I realized I don't do that enough.
I think that's a great reminder. Weekends are the perfect chance to recharge, and being outdoors, even for a short while, can make a big difference.
Exactly. Then on Sunday, I stayed home and tried something completely new. I made pasta from scratch.
Hold on, you mean you actually made the dough and everything?
Yes, flour, eggs, the whole thing. It was messy. My kitchen looked like a snowstorm hit it, but it was fun. I rolled out the dough, cut it into strips, and boiled it. I made a simple tomato sauce to go with it.
Wow, that's impressive. How did it taste?
Surprisingly good. The pasta was a bit thicker than it should be, but it was chewy and fresh. Honestly, I felt so proud. Like, wow, I can actually make this.
That's amazing. I've only ever eaten store-bought pasta. I think you should invite me next time. I'll be your official food tester.
Deal. But you'll have to help clean up the mess.
Uh-oh. Maybe I'll just come for the eating part.
But yeah, that was my weekend. A mix of calm moments outside and a little creative challenge at home. It wasn't anything huge, like traveling or going to a big event, but it felt really meaningful.
I love that. It shows that you don't need to do something extravagant to enjoy your weekend. Sometimes the simplest activities, walking in the park, cooking, spending time with a friend, are the most rewarding.
Exactly. And I think that's what weekends should be about: balance, rest, and doing something that makes you happy. All right, that was such a cozy weekend, Clara style. Now I'm curious, Mark, how was your weekend?
Mine was definitely more on the adventurous side. On Saturday, I joined a group hike. It wasn't too far from the city, about an hour's drive, but it felt like a completely different world once we got there.
Ooh, a hike! I like where this is going. So, how long did it take?
About 2 hours to reach the top. The trail was a mix of rocky paths, some forest areas, and even a small stream we had to cross. Honestly, it was tougher than I expected. I was sweating like crazy after just 20 minutes.
I can imagine. Did you go with friends or like an organized group?
It was an organized hiking group, around 12 of us, including a guide. And let me tell you, there's always that one person who just walks super fast and makes the rest of us feel like amateurs.
I know exactly the type. Did you try to keep up?
For about 5 minutes, yes. Then I realized, nope, I'm here to enjoy, not to suffer. So I stayed in the middle, took my time, enjoyed the scenery.
That's the way to do it. So, what was the view like at the top?
Incredible. You could see the entire city skyline in the distance, plus a river winding through the valley. The sky was so clear. You know when you feel like you're on top of the world? That's how it felt.
Wow, that sounds breathtaking. Did you take photos?
Of course. But honestly, pictures never do it justice. The real thing, the breeze, the sound of birds, the sense of accomplishment, it's something you just have to experience in person.
I get that. It's the kind of feeling you carry with you, not just in your camera.
Exactly. Oh, and funny story. One guy in our group brought way too many snacks. Like, he had a whole picnic in his backpack. Halfway up, he was handing out cookies, chips, even juice boxes.
That's amazing. He's the kind of hiking buddy everyone needs.
Totally. I think he saved us all. I had one too many cookies, though. I felt like I was hiking slower after that.
So you balanced burning calories with eating them back right away.
Pretty much. But it was worth it. After reaching the top, we just sat there, ate, and enjoyed the view. Honestly, it felt like the highlight of my week.
I can see why. That sounds like a real recharge for your mind and body.
Yeah. Then Sunday was a complete contrast. I had a full-on movie marathon at home.
Ah, from mountain man to couch potato in 24 hours.
Exactly. I stayed in pajamas all day, made some popcorn, and watched 3 movies back to back.
3 movies? That's serious commitment. What did you watch?
First, an action movie. You know, lots of car chases and explosions. Then I balanced it with a light comedy, which was nice after the intense one. And finally, I watched a drama that actually made me cry a little.
Oh, really? Did you cry alone in your pajamas with popcorn?
Yes, and I'm not ashamed to admit it.
That's so relatable, though. Sometimes you just need a good cry from a movie.
Totally. And the best part? I didn't feel guilty about it. I think sometimes we feel like weekends should always be productive, but honestly, resting and doing nothing can be productive in its own way.
I couldn't agree more. It's about balance, right? You had adventure one day and pure relaxation the next. That's a perfect combo.
Exactly. And by Sunday night, I felt recharged, ready for the week ahead.
So, Mark, if you had to choose just one highlight from your weekend, the moment that really stood out, what would it be?
Hmm, that's tough. But I'd say definitely reaching the top of the hill during the hike. You know that feeling when you're tired, your legs are sore, but then suddenly you see the view and it's like, wow, it was worth it. It gave me such a sense of accomplishment.
I get that. It's kind of symbolic too, right? Like life. Sometimes the climb feels tough, but the reward at the top makes it meaningful.
Exactly. And it also reminded me how important it is to disconnect from screens and just be in nature. No notifications, no emails, just fresh air and real conversations.
That's beautiful. For me, my highlight was definitely making pasta from scratch. It might sound small compared to climbing a hill, but it felt really empowering. Like, I tried something I'd never done before, and it worked.
That's not small at all. Cooking can be such a confidence booster. And honestly, food connects people. So, in a way, you created more than just pasta. You created an experience.
I love that. And you know what? Both our highlights, your hike and my pasta, are actually about trying something new and being present.
True. And I think that's what weekends are all about. They're short, but they give us a chance to pause, reset, and maybe step out of our usual routine.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be huge or expensive. Even small things can become highlights if you give them your full attention. Like me with my cooking, or you enjoying the view on the hike.
Totally. You know, it reminds me of something I read once. Happiness is not in the grand events, but in the small, repeated moments.
Ooh, I love that quote. And it's so true. Think about it. Every weekend is like a little reset button. We can choose to rest, to connect with friends, to explore, or to learn something new.
Right. And it's also about balance, like, if your whole weekend is just chores, you'll feel drained. But if it's only fun with no rest, you might start Monday feeling tired.
Exactly. I think the trick is to mix it up. Something for your body, something for your mind, and something for your heart.
Wow, I like that framework. For me last weekend, hiking for the body, movies for the mind, and good laughs with the group for the heart.
Yes. And for me, walking in the park for the body, cooking pasta for the mind, and sharing coffee talks with my friend for the heart.
That's perfect. See? When we reflect, we realize weekends aren't just days off. They can actually be little lessons in living well.
So true. And maybe that's a reminder for our listeners, too. Don't just let weekends pass by. Think about what moments made you smile, or what little wins you had. That reflection makes them even more meaningful. So before we wrap things up, let's share some tips for making weekends more enjoyable. You know, little things that can help people feel recharged and ready for the week ahead.
I love that idea. Okay, my first tip. Try to spend at least a little time outdoors. It doesn't have to be a full hike like I did. Even just a short walk in the park or sitting outside with a cup of coffee can clear your mind.
That's so true. Fresh air really makes a difference. My tip would be do at least one thing that gives you a sense of achievement. For me, that was cooking pasta from scratch. For others, it could be cleaning your room, finishing a book, or organizing your desk. Even small wins matter.
Absolutely. And here's another one. Disconnect a little from technology. Put your phone on silent, avoid scrolling for hours, and just be present. I noticed during my hike, no Wi-Fi, no notifications, and it was so freeing.
Yes, that's such a big one. Sometimes we don't realize how draining it is to be constantly online. My next tip is make time for connection. That could mean hanging out with friends, calling your family, or even spending quality time with yourself. Journaling, meditating, whatever works for you.
I like that. And here's a fun one. Try something new. It doesn't have to be big. You don't need to book a flight to another country. It could be as simple as trying a new cafe, cooking a new recipe, or exploring a street in your neighborhood you've never walked down before.
Exactly. New experiences, even tiny ones, can make a weekend feel special. And my final tip would be prepare just a little for the week ahead. I don't mean spend your whole Sunday working, but maybe set aside 30 minutes to plan your schedule, pack your bag, or meal prep. It helps Monday feel less stressful.
That's a great one. It's like giving your future self a little gift. Monday morning, Mark is always thankful when Sunday Mark does the laundry.
Same here. Monday, Clara appreciates Sunday Clara when she preps breakfast.
So let's recap quickly. Our weekend tips are spend time outdoors, do at least one thing that feels productive, disconnect from tech, make time for connection, try something new, prepare a little for the week ahead.
That's a solid list. And of course, the main thing is don't stress about making your weekend perfect. Just do what feels good for you.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, weekends are for recharging, not performing.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. I really enjoyed sharing our weekends and hearing about yours in my imagination.
Me too. I think this episode reminded us that weekends don't have to be fancy or expensive to be meaningful. Whether you're climbing a hill, cooking pasta, or just binge-watching movies in your pajamas, it all counts if it makes you feel good.
Exactly. And we also shared a few tips, like spending time outdoors, trying something new, disconnecting from tech, and preparing a little for the week ahead. Hopefully, one or two of those can inspire you for your next weekend.
And remember, there's no perfect way to spend a weekend. The best weekend is the one that works for you, whether that means adventure, rest, or a little of both.
Before we sign off, we'd love to hear from you, our listeners. What was the highlight of your weekend? Share your stories with us on social media, leave a comment, or even send us a message. We'd be so happy to read them and maybe share a few in our next episode.
Yes, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss future episodes. If you enjoyed this one, it would mean a lot if you could also leave us a rating or review. It helps us grow and reach more listeners.
And of course, share this episode with a friend who loves chatting about their weekends. Maybe it'll inspire them to reflect on their own little highlights.
All right, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We hope your weekend ahead is filled with joy, laughter, and maybe a new little adventure.
Yes, whatever you choose to do, make it meaningful. Until next time. Bye!